Hey, it's our 50th matinee show.
Yeah, and Jenny's boobs are crooked. We had to straighten them out.
Well, either that or the shirt was crooked.
Okay,
I wasn't
right.
really sure. I was just looking in the camera and I'm like,
my
what's
boobs
going
are
on?
crooked. I said, let me straighten them things out.
Conk, conk, conk. It's like weightlifting.
Yeah. And we got 3 movies we got to review.
Yeah, we actually did not go to the theater this week because like nothing new really started and
Didn't want to go down there.
we didn't feel like going down there because we're
Watch
lazy.
those miserable ass movies. Just bad movies are on there right now. It's okay. Good ones are coming.
Or ones like, some of them might be good, but it wasn't really anything we were
the new Rambo,
particularly interested in seeing.
New Rambo's going to be coming. Joker's going to be coming.
I want to see that Knives Out movie, that murder mystery with Daniel Craig in it.
That's Ryan Johnson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
I don't know. I think it looks cool.
Okay.
I like murder mysteries.
All right.
But, so there's ones coming out that we want to see, but there weren't any this week. So this week...
Terminator Dark Flop, that's coming out.
That might be good too. Like I said,
See.
I don't like watch all this stupid shit where people are just like whining about stuff before it comes out. It's like I'll see it and then I'll make a decision.
There's really only been one good Terminator movie and one of them that was acceptable.
Passable, yeah.
Yeah, and then part 2 is acceptable. The first one was good.
Yeah.
2 is acceptable.
It's funny because like a lot of people really like the second one, but when I rewatched it, I was like, that wasn't as good as I remember.
No,
it's only just because of that kid is super annoying.
Just so annoying.
And it's like so 90s. I just like could not even deal with it.
Yeah, and the other ones I don't really who cares?
I don't even think I bothered watching the other ones. So I wouldn't even know what was going on in the new one or whatever.
Soon as the damn Skynet starts talking, I checked out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because
maybe I did see that.
Skynet should have never said anything. That should be like an insect computer type intelligence that doesn't have a face and unknowable. As soon as you start putting a face and a voice to it,
well, yeah, it personalizes it, and then it's not as scary
anymore. That's what it is.
See, that's what happens. And like, if people are making horror movies, out there, take note. Your villain is always scarier when you don't know that much shit about them.
Yeah.
The more you explain their backstory, the more you explain their motivations and stuff like that, the less scary they get.
Yeah, we're going to review 3 movies.
These were all on Netflix, and they're all from 2019.
One of them was okay. I didn't see much of it. The other 2 I didn't like. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one we were talking about, that was probably my favorite of the week.
Yeah, the one that I liked, I actually had to start cooking and getting that, so I missed a lot.
Yeah, so he was like running in and out.
Although I liked that one, it was funny.
Yeah, I did. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about came out May 17th, 2019 on Netflix. It was called See You Yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, this was the writing and directorial debut of a guy named Stephen Bristol. Spike Lee also produced this one. This is kind of like... Okay, the beginning of it, the setup of it is kind of like you think it's going to be like Back to the Future. Yeah. Like, I mean, like it's going to be, and even Michael J. Fox has a cameo in it, like as a science teacher.
Which that was the best part of this movie, and that also fucked this movie up because it set the bar high. And
also, I did like this movie, but I think that maybe it shouldn't have set that tone at the beginning because like the first 15-20 minutes, you think it's going to be like a goofy like time travel conversation. It is a sci-fi movie marginally, but after the time travel starts to happen, shit gets dark real fast.
Yeah.
So this movie ends up, like I said, it's a good movie, but it ends up being like kind of a bummer. It's like really, really sad and grim. So I think that it's tonally it was a little weird.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really sure what was. Like I said, if I had known ahead of time, I just knew it's like, oh, it's about a kid that invents a time machine and, hijinks ensue or whatever. So that's pretty much all I knew about it. Yeah. But it's not the funny thing that you would think that Michael J. Fox being in there and all the shenanigans at the beginning would lead you to believe.
I think the Rotten Tomatoes score fucking tells it all. The critics rating was a 99% good. You know what I'm talking about? They said it was 99%. But, the viewer rating is like 25%.
Like I said, if you know what you're getting into, you probably like it better. But because I wasn't sure, like, where it was going.
Too many mistakes were made in the movie. Like you said, and it was tonal problems. Also, just... When you have a goofy premise and goofy looking characters and goofy time travel and shit. The movie has to be fast paced and fun. That's not what this movie was.
This movie
was a fucking bummer. And here's the deal. It's not a long movie.
It's not. I think it's like 85 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it seemed to just take
It does seem a bit long, yeah.
And the characters are so tedious and wordy, and there's just so much useless talking, and you end up just going like, shut the fuck up.
I will say that
I just got sick of the movie fast.
I will say that I liked the kids at the center of it. The girl that plays CJ, who's like the main character, and she has a friend named Sebastian, and basically they're both kind of like they're at like the that science high school, the special science high school in the Bronx, I think, or in Brooklyn or wherever it is.
The characters were good ideas, just that they didn't do anything with them. And the story didn't do the characters justice.
Basically, what she does is they've invented, like for this project that's coming up, they've invented essentially a time machine that makes a wormhole, and it fits in a backpack.
Yeah. Ghostbuster style.
Yeah, the problem that is that you can only go back one day. Now, they really don't think about the implications of this because they just think, oh, we're just going back one day. We'll try not to change anything. It won't be this big deal or anything like that. But they go back one day, one little change gets made, and tragedy occurs. Yeah. So then the rest of the story is her trying to, fix the problem. Like, go back and, change another little thing. Like, so hopefully the tragedy doesn't happen. But then other tragedy happens. And so it's just kind of like the rest of the movie is just her kind of like trying to go back and like fix her mistake, because it actually kind of was her fault that she went time traveling and that, the shit happened. Because I don't think it would have happened anyway, would it? That's what spurred off the whole series of events.
What ends up happening is that the movie quickly starts falling apart for tonal reasons, and it ends up getting I was about 20, 30 minutes in it, and I stopped caring about what was happening to the fatal flaw of this movie is that I think bringing Michael J. Fox in and making Back to the Future references sets the movie up for failure. Okay?
I would agree with that,
You think the thing is going to be kind of
like a wacky time travel adventure.
Made all those Back to the Future movies great is that they were very tight stories, very fast-paced, very superficial, but they had impact.
Yeah.
It didn't wallow in anything. You know what I mean? Even a serious subject in Back to the Future was kind of treated flippantly.
Yeah.
All right? Because it doesn't get bogged down in the weight of its own emotions. It continues to move forward, and it's basically an optimistic tale.
Yeah.
We know they're going to work it out. This is exactly the opposite.
This one, I would call this, like I said, I actually did kind of like this movie, but I would have not set it up in the beginning as being like almost a comedic type of tone or a fun type of tone.
Yeah.
Because this movie is like really, it's a tragedy, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of nihilistic.
Yeah.
Although the ending of it, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but the ending of it does leave it open or like ambiguous about like what happens past a certain point. So you could read it in an optimistic way, but a lot of the shit that happens in the movie is very nihilistic.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it's done that is because they're trying to make relevant political statements to today, but it ends up just being demoralizing to the audience. So, you know what I mean? It's like because they're hopeless, whoever's writing this shit, because they have no hope, they're trying to make everybody else have no hope. So it's defeating the audience, if you ask. This is not what an audience wants to see. You look at the damn cover of the movie, and it looks like the poster. It looks like it's going to be a real fun, like kids movie. No, not at all. It's a bummer. It's a total bummer. It doesn't even have a very good sense of humor. It's just for me.
Yeah, it's like all the funny stuff happens like in the first 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, and
after that, it's just like
kind of the whole thing just kind of falls apart, and it just
after that, it's just everyone is like steeped in misery.
Yeah, it's got a political agenda it's trying to sell to you, which immediately will turn you off. You know what I mean? It's just people. If you ask me,
I was gonna say it's like I have run into this a lot on Netflix. I'm not sure who designs their little cards Maybe they don't have a person that designs them. Maybe whoever made the movie, like, or whoever is the graphic designer for that.
Yeah, it might have been a hodgepodge of different people trying to put this thing together.
I feel like, and it wasn't just this movie, but I've seen like a lot of movies where like the little cards that come up on Netflix really kind of misrepresented what the movie was about, because sometimes you'll like see the card, and it works sometimes in the opposite direction too. Like sometimes I see a card in there, I'm like, that looks like it's going to be the stupidest thing ever, but like then when I watch it, I'm like, oh hey, that was pretty good. Like maybe somebody else should have designed the card because they didn't really,
or maybe whoever
capture the spirit of the movie.
Yeah, whoever did the card should have watched the movie.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't have time to.
Go, well, it must be a movie like this.
Because I mean, I've done like artwork for various things, not necessarily movies, except for a couple indie ones. But what usually ends up happening is that your band or your movie production company or whatever, they usually have like a set number of stills or a set number of like, photographs like from the movie, and they'll basically just send you those. This is the font we're going to use. This is the logo of the movie or whatever. And you just put it together like that. So sometimes the designer has not seen the movie, I would imagine, because sometimes I've seen that artwork that just there's nothing like what the movie is like.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie.
Yeah, like I said, I liked it, but keep in mind that, the way that it's represented, like in the artwork, and the way that you think it's going to go in the first 10 to 15 minutes, like it's sad, it's tragic, it's not a fun movie.
Yeah, and another thing is that where it's setting it up like it's going to have kind of like a Back to the Future movie thematic feel to it, but that's not the tone or the feel. As a few minutes into it, probably about 15, 20 minutes into it, it has the feel of a Netflix series. Yeah. It feels like a Netflix series.
It does, actually.
Put into just 88 minutes. The tone is wrong. I think part of it is that there's no score.
Oh, I didn't notice that. But yeah, I think now that I'm thinking about it,
any kind of score. And bringing in Michael J. Fox to help set the tone in a damn time travel movie, this shit ain't gonna work without a fucking epic score, because Back to the Future was music driven.
Yeah.
Everything happened. There's that big, what do you call it?
Orchestral.
Big orchestral score to the background. It sounded very epic. This sounded, it didn't really have a sound. It's just like it's like a Netflix series.
I'm going to say, actually, too, that
a lot of Netflix series actually have good scores.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't remember.
I'm going to say that actually, like, even though the genre of this is listed as sci-fi, I'm going to say it's basically a drama. But it uses, because there's not a huge amount of time travel. Yes, time travel is like, kind of the fulcrum that the plot turns on, but there isn't a lot of like time travel stuff in it. It's basically just talking. I mean, they're standing in an alley like when they go, and they just have backpacks, so it's not like it shows them like working on the time machine and stuff like that. But it's basically just trying to go back and like fix these horrible things that have gone wrong and tragedies that have occurred.
Too much talking, not enough action. Most of it should have been a bunch of running, a bunch of gags, jumping over stuff, stunts. You know what I mean? Because if you look at Back to the Future, which that's the tone we're trying to set in the beginning. Back to the Future was kind of hammy. You know what I mean? A lot of stuff happened in it. It's there's a lot of blocking.
Yeah.
To that, it's almost like a stage act. It's almost kind of like a musical. Some of the stuff that you see happen in Back to the Future, and this compared to that just feels kind of dead.
Yeah, I think I would have liked it better if they hadn't tried to do that. If they hadn't tried to like establish it as a Back to the Future type of movie. If they had established the tone right from the outset.
Yeah, had they established,
I think I would have liked it.
It would have been a lot
better because you would become invested in the story because you're like, oh, okay, this is how the story is and that's how it's going, instead of expecting one thing and then having it go.
It should have had a kind of a serious dark tone from the very beginning.
Yeah. And
then it would have made a little more sense, I think.
Yeah.
But no, I just didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame because it could have been good.
It's a good concept.
Yeah, it could have been good. It was there. I think maybe you could have saved it in the edit and adding a proper score.
Yeah.
And a different advertising packaging around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the movie poster, if it looked a little bit different, maybe you could have sold it in a different way.
Yeah.
But trying to establish it as a fun kid-based time travel movie like Back to the Future, no, you just shot yourself in the foot with that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And the second movie we watched on Netflix this week was Murder Mystery, which came out June 14th. Actually, when it first came out, I think this was the highest watched movie of all the Netflix originals, up until this point.
I fucked this one up.
You did?
Yeah, I fucked it up because I had chores and shit I had to do.
Well, you didn't have to do it, but you...
Well, there's only so many hours in a day. There's stuff I had to do. This actually was a good one.
Yeah.
And every time I popped back in to see what was going on, it's kind of like I'd like to see it again.
Yeah.
It is a chick flick, if you ask me. It's not being marketed. This is not being marketed to guys. Even though I think Adam Sandler is actually kind of like a woman's comedian. I think women like him better.
I don't like Adam Sandler.
You don't like it?
No.
And then you got that other. Every time I see Adam Sandler movies, it always seems kind of like a woman, or like a movie slightly aimed to women. If you ask me.
Are you kidding me?
For really?
Like Happy Gilmore, like all those, The Waterboy, those are total dude movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I wouldn't watch that.
Neither would I, though.
Okay, well then it's not the kind of man that I am.
They're just I don't look because they're like dumb, like slapstick.
Okay, I
like just peeing on shit and it's all that kind of stuff.
I didn't.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen
it's not my kind of humor. So I don't really know who they're for.
But the thing about this one is, and like I said, I'm not a gigantic fan of Adam Sandler. I haven't seen like a lot of his comedies. If I did, I don't really.
To me, it seems effeminate.
I don't know. I don't get that. But like I said, I never liked Adam Sandler. I always thought he was like kind of stupid. Yeah, I thought that was like a guy thing.
Okay, no, I thought he was trying to be. I thought he was just trying to be cute for women or something.
No.
No.
I never. Well,
got
then
that there's some kind of a man out there that watches this.
Well, yeah, like I said, a lot of his early comedies are like kind of dude comedy classics.
Compared to me, they'd probably be woman anyway.
Yeah.
They'd just be other women compared to me.
But the thing about this one, like I said,
I didn't even entertain that shit.
Because you say that all the time.
She got me.
And it's like
She got me.
And like I don't really have any idea what you're talking about because Adam Sandler movies are like super popular, like his old ones at least.
Are they?
Now I guess like Adam Sandler, like I said, I haven't seen like a lot of his movies, but he is apparently like has a contract with Netflix to produce like X amount of films or whatever. So this is the ones that he did before this, which I haven't seen, so I can't like really comment. But the ones that he did before this apparently didn't get real good reviews or anything. Now this one has done substantially better. Now this is basically, it's a comedy, obviously. And it's like a whodunit, like, murder mystery, which is why it's called that.
It's got that girl from Friends in it.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston is in it.
Yeah, I call her a girl. She's a woman now.
Well, yeah, she's probably my
50.
age.
She's probably like 50.
Or older.
Yeah, I think she's older. Yeah.
Now, I guess that Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston had been together in a comedy like back in 2011. I can't remember the name of it. And apparently, like, people thought like they had really good like comedic chemistry together. So
I thought Adam Sandler was on Friends actually.
Yeah, he was like, and they were both on Friends. I'm like, what are you talking about? Adam Sandler wasn't on Friends.
Well, it just goes to show you, I
didn't even watch Friends, and I knew that.
It just goes to show you, I'm not a mainstream guy. I don't watch television. I don't know what.
But I never watched it either.
I don't know what quote unquote normal people like. I don't know what they like.
I don't either. But I do know that Adam Sandler wasn't on Friends. I know that for sure.
They all look alike to me.
Okay.
They all look alike to me.
But yeah, so this is basically. So basically the setup of it's not like a super original setup or anything like that. It's basically Adam Sandler is a police sergeant who has actually been lying to his wife and said that he got promoted to detective and got a raise and everything. He's failed the test like 3 times because he's like a running gag throughout the film is like he's a really rotten shot. But he's been telling her that he's a detective and he has more money and shit like that. She's a hairdresser, I think. And so it's coming up on their 15th wedding anniversary, and he like does the sad husband thing and like buys her this stupid looking card and like a $50 Amazon gift card or some shit like that for their 15th anniversary. And then she finally was like, when we got married, you said that we would go to Europe. So even though he's still broke dick because he hasn't got the promotion yet. He's like, okay, well, I booked a trip to Europe. He lied and he said that he booked it a long time ago, but he just like booked it real quick because she complained. So while they're on the plane going to Europe, Jennifer Aniston's character, whose name is Audrey, meets this real suave, like super rich dude when she goes to sneak up to first class. This guy says, oh, hey, why don't you come and, hang out on my family's yacht for a little while? We're going to Monaco and all this other kind of crap.
Yeah, for no real reason.
Not really. I thought they were going to do more with that.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just kind of like a plot device to get them there because
right.
there was no other way. So they end up like on this rich dude's yacht. And it turns out that the purpose for the whole yacht excursion, which is like this family, and it's some of them are family members and some are like various hangers-on of like this billionaire family. The billionaire who is played by Terrence Stamp, who really needed to be in this movie more because I love Terrence Stamp, and he was like really, really good in this. So he basically announces that he has married his 23-year-old wife or something, and he's like 80 or something.
Yeah, but he's so rich it didn't matter.
And that all of you family members and hangers-on, you're all leeches, and you're all cut off.
You're all cut off. You're not getting anything out of the
You're not getting any of my money.
Yeah.
So,
lights go out and he gets
stabbed.
Yeah.
So then the rest of it is just kind of like this,
mystery.
A pretty much murder mystery. It's very much like Clue, not quite as zany as that.
It's very standard. It's very standardized, but the movie is not trying to do anything new. It's actually playing on old tropes.
Yeah.
Some people would say, well, that's very lazy. Yeah, but sometimes that's what works.
Not necessarily. I don't think it was. It's like I said.
You don't think it worked?
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I don't think it's lazy necessarily.
Some people would say that though. Because it wasn't totally original. It can be. It was not totally original.
It can be.
It was not a totally original idea or a totally original movie, but that's what made it work. Because it was a known genre and it stuck to the tropes of that genre. Yeah,
I feel like if you're going to do, like I said, yes, it's lazy if you're just using that as a crutch to lean on and you're not going to like try and do anything interesting with the characters or anything. But I think that if you're going to do that and use like a very standard, plot like this, then your character interactions, all of, the mystery, how it unfurls and stuff like that have to be like really good and really enjoyable.
It's a vehicle for a bunch of jokes and gags.
Yeah, and I think that worked really well.
Yeah.
In this movie. Adam Sandler's character, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of his, but he was fine in this. He was very grumbly and kind of schlubby and stupid, and like he didn't so Jennifer Aniston was kind of like the brains of the operation, and the two of them do work very well together. Like you could actually buy that they'd been married for 15 years because they were just like constantly squabbling and like talking shit about each other.
I still think this was a chick flick. I don't care what you say. To me, I think it was targeted towards women.
Maybe, but like I said, I don't.
There's a lot of relationship humor in it and stuff. It was not.
Yeah, that's true.
I saw that one Adam Sandler movie you're talking about, Waterboy.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny.
Yeah.
I did think it was funny. And it was very different from this one.
Well, yeah, like I said, this is a comedy, but it's like I said,
it was a long time ago that I saw that Adam Sandler movie, but I think you're right. That was targeted more to guys.
Well, yeah, all of his early movies were.
Yeah, it was.
That's why I didn't like them.
I'm gonna start fucking. I'm fucking around a little bit, when I do the show. It was marketed more to guys, but kind of like dumb guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's why I didn't really like it. Like a lot of that, I don't know. I do kind of like stupid humor sometimes. Like Adam Sandler's character in this said some stupid shit and he was kind of like useless and everything. Yeah. But he did have some really funny lines in this. Yeah. Although Jennifer Aniston I think had the best lines and the ensemble cast, like all of the family members, all the suspects in the murder. They did a good job making each of them really entertaining, in their own right. You know what I mean? Luke Evans is in this too.
The dumbest I'll go with these comedies is Jack Black. Nacho Libre, I loved that one.
Well, I like that movie too.
I love Nacho Libre. And Tenacious
I like Jack Black.
Yeah. Tenacious D, that shit was fucking hilarious.
The thing about Adam Sandler that I think bothers me
School of Rock
is that, because I can get behind dumb humor and shit like that too, but the thing about Adam Sandler that bothered me, it seems like even when he's doing goofy humor, there always seems to be like anger or condescension behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe that's just me that senses that.
You're saying that Adam Sandler secretly is a bitch.
Yeah, or so he just always comes across as like a little bit mean. Like even when he's not, even when the character doesn't call for that.
Right.
Now he comes across like that in this movie too, but because that's part of his character, because he's like been thrust into this situation, and he's a cop, so he's trying to figure out the thing. And like Jennifer Aniston's character is a hairdresser, like I said, but she's like a big fan of like murder mystery novels. So the two of them kind of have to like team up to like solve the crime, because they actually, because they're the only like strangers that ended up on this yacht, they actually get accused, like by the French police, they get accused of murdering the guy.
Yeah.
And it actually turns out to be more than one guy. Like more people die like through the course of the thing. So it's kind of like I guess it's kind of like a thing where they learn to like appreciate each other's strengths again, because she's been getting all over his case for being a schlubby loser and who lied to her and stuff. And
well, don't spoil the whole movie.
No, I'm not, and stuff like that. So I mean, like I said, it's not like it's a hugely, there's no twist or anything.
Right, that's true.
I didn't figure the mystery out, but I wasn't really trying to. I was just kind of like,
it doesn't matter.
Actually. It doesn't really matter. Like I just kind of like enjoyed all the characters and
it's
enjoyed all the funny
kind of like
shit.
Airplane. It's just a vehicle to tell a bunch of gags and say a bunch of jokes. Really, it's not really an important story.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just funny.
It's just a fun. Yeah. I mean, I laughed out loud a few times. It's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but But yeah, I did get like a lot of laughs about it. It's it's super fun. You just like sit back with a drink and watch it, and it's hilarious. You know what I mean? And like I said, this is coming from somebody that's not a big fan of Adam Sandler, but they actually the interaction of the two of them was good, and all the ensemble cast was really good too. There was like some funny like character moments and shit like that in there. There was a couple things that I might have changed. I wish they would have stayed on the yacht longer, so it was more like a locked room mystery, rather than getting released out into the wild and running around the streets of Milan or wherever it was. I think it was supposed to be Monaco, but I think it was filmed in Milan.
It was okay. If I didn't have to review it and she wasn't with me, I would have turned it probably. But it was okay.
But like I said, you didn't see a lot of it because you were out there making tuna salad or whatever it was you were doing.
Right. But I'm not really into that kind of humor per se. I mean, it's just okay. It's acceptable.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it's humor for the whole family.
Yeah.
So,
And like I said, a lot of these movies...
From my point of view, kind of watered down.
I probably would have got around to watching this eventually anyway, just because I like murder mysteries and, things around that, based around that premise.
I like things that are a little more ridiculous. I mean, like Jack Black will take me somewhere, because he's just ludicrous.
Well, like I said, this is like Clue, but not as zany. Because Clue was like very funny, like very, very over the top.
Right.
This one didn't have as much of that. Some of the characters were a little bit over the top, but not as much as that one. So it's not quite as funny as that, but it was perfectly enjoyable. And like I said, I probably would have got around to watching this eventually anyway, but, we're doing the matinee shows. They have to be new movies, so there's not a huge amount of 2019 movies on Netflix, so it's not like we have like a huge amount to pick from. So we just kind of picked the ones that sounded like the most interesting or that we might enjoy. So that's what I mean. But yeah, so check it out if you haven't seen it. And the third movie we watched this week, also on Netflix. It actually came out very early this year in 2019. This is the science fiction film Io.
Yeah. Is it just Io, or is it something else? Is it Operation Io or something?
That's the thing. It's like, well, the card for it, this is why I was confused, because I was looking for it on Netflix, like on the search thing, and I think the card says Destination Io.
Destination, yeah.
But if you look it up on Wikipedia or IMDb or anything, it's just called Io.
Yeah. It was an interesting movie. I would say this is a well-made movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's well thought out. It wasn't a very fun movie to watch, from my point of view. It's long. It's long and it's very slow. And it's missing a lot of elements from the story that I would like to see. You know what I mean? I would have trimmed it way down, made it shorter, and I'd have added monsters. I'd have added monsters. And, some fighting. So, man, You go ahead and explain what the movie's about. It's like the last woman on Earth, so there's like an Omega Man vibe.
Yeah.
And see, I'd have taken it down that direction. To where, yeah, everybody's evacuated the Earth, but they evacuated Earth for a certain reason. And there had been like some bad shit there that you had to avoid, so you could actually have some action scenes or, you know what I mean, see something scary. But that's not there. It's just basically, it's just slow.
This is more like a philosophical horror movie, or sci-fi movie.
It's very high-minded.
What it reminded me the most of was The Martian, except set on Earth. Because basically the premise of the movie, Margaret Qualley is in this. She's kind of like the main character, and she's played by, Margaret Qualley. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, she played the Manson family girl with the hairy armpits.
Yeah, they probably all had hairy armpits, but yeah, the one that picked up
one that was trying to blow the stuntman in the car.
Yeah. So she's in it.
She did a great job.
Anthony Mackie is in it, who was in a lot of the Marvel movies, among many other things.
She did a great job in that movie.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
She's good in this one too. Yeah, the acting in this is very good. But like I said, it's kind of like The Martian, but not. Okay, so the premise of the movie is that it's at some point in the future. I don't think they ever tell you like how far in the future it is or what year it is or anything. But basically, the Earth has been evacuated because they don't really explain why, but there was like some kind of change in the chemical makeup of the atmosphere, and humans couldn't breathe it anymore. So they started, basically evacuating the Earth, and they all go to live on a space station right near Jupiter's moon of Io.
Yeah. Animals couldn't breathe it either, and it killed all the life in the ocean, everything.
Yeah, so basically the whole Earth is almost like a dead planet.
Yeah, except at like certain high altitudes you can breathe up there.
Yeah, that's the only place, like, I guess, like, the oxygen is slowly depleting or, like, being sucked off into the atmosphere, and then, like, so there's little pockets where people can still live. But on the whole, most people have gone.
I don't think the atmosphere is leaving. I think the atmosphere is like going toxic.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like atmospheric pressure was normal. And there were some plants growing.
Yeah.
But I think they were dead everywhere else.
Yeah.
It was... The movie looked realistic, and it seemed to, they did a really good job of kind of showing an entire world or an ecosystem, because they would go out and forage and find technology, and she'd bring it back and make it into stuff. And her dad, well, that's a long story. Her dad was trying to come up with a new
genetic
strain to modify human beings so they could live in this new atmosphere and animals, but it wasn't quite working out, evidently. And it's weird. She's on this last outpost, and she's talking to somebody on the Io colony. She's got a boyfriend, and she's been transmitting her dad's messages out from a radio station, and some of his teachings about, he was a scientist, about mutating people, I guess, or genetically engineering people to live in this planet.
Yeah, they started with animals, like they were trying to do bees, so they could get
bees and pigs and all kinds of stuff. And she was out there one day, and a balloon comes. There's a man in a balloon, and he's looking for her dad. And he was another guy. He was convinced to stay there by her father.
Yeah.
But he lost his whole family. The movie unfolds very slowly.
It does, yeah.
And you have to be very patient with this movie. So, and I would call this a true science fiction movie. A lot of things.
I was thinking that too, because it's very, very realistic.
Yeah, and a lot of science fiction movies are not really science fiction movies, more like action movies.
Yeah.
Because that's what sells. This movie is just not really for a general audience. It's kind of, like I said, it's atmospheric. It's kind of it's intelligent. It's an intelligent movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of literary references. Yeah. There's a lot of like mythological references. About the Garden of Eden. There's some T.S. Eliot stuff in there. There's with the painting Leda and the Swan. So it is kind of more like an intellectual type of.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's very intelligent. It's not very fun to watch.
No, but
for me, I didn't really. I kind of feel very conflicted about it because I understand what they're trying to do. I'm trying to talk about the movie without spoiling it because it is a good quality movie.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have taken the movie down another direction, more kind of like the Omega Man.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Where Yeah, it was destroying all life on the earth, but it was mutating people, too, and mutating the animals into something that was hostile. I thought maybe something like that would have been cool, you know? That way you could have some more action-adventure scenes.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really happen in this movie.
Yeah, like I said, this is a very, like you said, it's more like a true sci-fi movie in the sense that this is what it would be like if this is the last woman on Earth. She has presumably been born, because I think her dad was working on this stuff before she was even born, right? Yeah. So she has actually been born on the Earth with this kind of toxic atmosphere. And so So there's kind of like a conflict. The whole conflict of the movie is that, you know, when this other person arrives, like in the hot air balloon, his name is Micah. Yeah. And he's decided that he wants to leave because basically most people on Earth have left that you know of. So you think that these two people are pretty much the only ones left alive. But they're still doing escape shuttles to go to Io. Yeah. Now her boyfriend has been trying to convince her to like come to Io, you know, you're not going to like save the Earth. It's like, it's too late now. We messed it up, or it's, you know, it's unlivable now. So you should take the last shuttle. So there's only one more shuttle and it's coming in like 4 days or something like that. So she has to decide, you know, when Micah comes, should they leave on the last shuttle? Because if she doesn't go on the last shuttle, then she's just going to be stuck on the planet, right?
Yeah. And there's a bunch of ambiguity with this girl too. I don't want to spoil any of it. It's just that her whole thing was like genetically modifying animals to adapt to this new environment, and it makes you wonder if somewhere along the lines she got genetically modified.
I think that's what, or because she was born on the planet that she had that capability, maybe. Yeah,
well, they left it very ambiguous, and you don't really find anything out until the very end. So
yeah.
I would have done it differently.
Yeah.
I would have brought that out early, and then gone the direction of maybe like The Brood, where she's given birth to mutant human beings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can live on the planet.
That could live on the planet, you know. But they were hostile to humans.
Yeah.
I'd have gone that way, see? Because you already had these good actors. You already had all these special effects. You had all this stuff. Let's do something exciting with it. That's how I would have done it, you know. Kind of like the one, that one robot one that we saw, Mother.
Mother, yeah.
So I'd have done something kind of like that, where there was more tension.
Yeah.
There was not much tension in this.
This did have some, because it did have some mystery. You weren't really sure, like, what her end game was. You weren't sure where Micah had come from, like, what his end game was.
Yeah.
You weren't sure how it was going to turn out. So there was, like, some mystery, like, you know, when they interacted with one another and whether they were telling each other the truth and stuff.
It's just not quite enough for a movie of this scope, if you ask me.
Yeah.
If you're going to go ahead and go through the trouble of making this movie and make it look that cool, do some shit.
Yeah.
Have some shit blow up. You know? Have some people get shot. Have some fucking monsters. All right? Stop being so intelligent. The audiences are not intelligent. The average IQ is about 90. Just show them some shit. Catch it on fire. And they'll, you know.
Yeah, but
don't be ambiguous.
But not everybody wants to make a movie like that, and not everybody wants to watch movies.
I believe that movies should be made to make money and to entertain people.
Like I said, well, other people are entertained by different things.
Yeah, I would think very few people would be entertained by this.
I actually liked this movie. I will say I'd
like to see the Rotten Tomatoes score.
The pacing on it was slightly baggy. There could have been a little bit that could have been trimmed, that I probably would have trimmed out. But in general, I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I was really invested in, like, the two characters and, like, what was going to happen and, like, you know, and I liked, like, the question behind it. I liked the concept behind it.
I saw what they were doing. You know, I did appreciate what they did, but as slow as I'm going to go, I won't go any slower than Blade Runner 2048.
2049.
2049.
Yeah.
That's it. I won't go any slower than that. If it's slower than that, I'm not interested. And I thought Blade Runner was fantastic.
Yeah. It was.
But it was dealing with bigger issues.
Yeah.
You know? What was going to inherit the universe? Human beings, replicants, or androids?
Yeah.
You know? I'm imagining, you know, Wallace Corporation, Tyrell Corporation, and you know, there was a lot of stuff happening in that, even though the tone was kind of...
Even though it was slowly paced, sure.
Yeah, it was kind of... The slow pace was kind of an illusion in a way. There was a lot happening.
Yeah.
It was slow, but it was also big.
Yeah.
You know. The cityscapes were
Which,
huge.
like I said, this was going for that, I think.
It was.
Because it did have some big themes behind it. And
Yeah.
I mean, she's the last person on Earth. They're talking about genetic engineering and,
Yeah.
whether people should come back from Io. Like, when will the Earth be habitable by humans again and things like that.
They just weren't showing us enough.
Yeah, that's true. Like I said, a lot of it was conveyed through conversation or through other things.
And there wasn't enough conflict.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There should have been some kind of monsters there.
Yeah, that they were escaping from.
Yeah, or animals.
Yeah.
Dangerous animals.
I get what you're saying.
Just.
I mean, I like this, but like I said, it's a pretty slow movie. It's very similar in tone to The Martian. I thought it was very similar. It's just not as funny as that because that had some kind of like funny moments in it too. But it was a similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So if you're into kind of more slow paced, more serious, like quote unquote high minded sci-fi or something like that,
it's like a very realistic science fiction movie, and realism isn't the greatest thing to watch on
But keep in mind that, I mean, if you're not invested in these two characters, then you might as well just turn it off because those two characters are pretty much the only two people in the whole movie, and their interactions make up like a large bulk of the movie's runtime.
Yeah, but I found they weren't that interesting. There wasn't much to them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought they were interesting. And like I said, there was bigger questions about like what was going on and like what because some of the stuff she said, it was like, I was like, why would she lie about that? Why would she, you know what I mean? And you weren't sure like what their motivations were. So I found that kind of compelling. But like I said, even if it was me, if I was editing it, I might have trimmed down some of the scenes a little bit.
They should have made her like genetically modified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I said, she might have been, but
they should have made it. They should have made it definitive earlier on in the movie, and then there was something bad about her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something, like she had tentacles that would come out or claws that would come out or something like she looked like a girl, but she wasn't one really, and if you had sex with her she could kill you. That something like that.
She had cooch tentacles.
Well, she would get you pregnant. That'd be some fucking shit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, maybe she'd get you pregnant, or maybe she'd hijack your mind and she'd be like a queen bee, and you.
Yeah, because they did do a lot with the bee.
Yeah, and that she was like a queen bee DNA in her, and she would make you a drone.
Yeah.
And you had to serve her. And then you're planting all these eggs, and there's these little clones of yourself, like bee-like clones of yourself are being born. So you had to be like fucking like the brood. See, they need to hire me for these movies because I come up with some fucking fucked up ideas. You're raising this brood of clones of you, right? And they're all horny bastards. They're trying to have sex with you. It's just fucking stupid shit like that, you know what I mean? It's like something Cronenberg come up with.
That does sound like a Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
Hey, David Cronenberg, if you're listening, you might want to get on.
Right.
All right, but yeah, so check it out if you like that kind of thing. You might like that kind of thing. Tom didn't like it.
Nah.
But, I kind of liked it. But I did think
it was a good quality
slow.
movie, but
I did think it was a little bit slow, but I liked it otherwise.
It was a good quality movie with good actors in it. It actually was kind of, I would say it was well executed. It looked cool. It just wasn't very fun to watch, and I didn't really like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fair enough. We will see you next time.